If you've been gaming for a couple of decades, you might remember the Neo Geo. It came out alongside the Mega Drive and SNES, and it had hardware that outclassed the both of them. But unfortunately, so did its price tag.
Yes, and now 23 years after its original launch, the console is being re-released as the Neo Geo X. It's an odd move, really. I mean, maybe they're just trying to get the jump on the next generation with last generation hardware.
Yeah, I think this is purely a nostalgia hit device. The case looks like the original console, as you can see, and you can output it to your television, but here's the trick. You can open it up, and suddenly it's a handheld.
And it is a solid little device. The thumbsticks and buttons have a good arcade stick feel to them, and the grip pad on the back means it's comfortable to hold. But there are some odd quirks. It's like, why does it have a widescreen when all of the games are 4:3?
Yeah, that is strange. I guess it's easier nowadays to source widescreen screens than 4:3. And at least you can stretch the image out to fill the whole screen. I agree the thumbstick works well though, especially for pulling off tricky moves in fighters. But the operating system is really clunky. The menus look terrible, and why does the game freeze for a second every time you change the volume? Huh?
Back in the day, the console's main selling point was that the hardware was exactly the same to those powerful arcade machines. You played on these beefy joysticks, and the games were identical to the arcade down to the last pixel. All right, well, Badge, if we're going to test this out properly, we should go and have an arcade sesh.
Okay, sounds good. Can you take them? Here comes the challenger. Do you like my hair?
You have great hair. I'm very tall.
Oh, it's fast.
I always have Delson arms, don't I?
Yeah. We had like 3 hits. It's hard.
Why am I sticking my tongue out?
You're doing the taunt. Hang on, let's do a taunt battle. Oh. I see how this is. Oh, just keep going. Just keep going. Oh, we got the car. I miss those explosions where it's like 30,000 little explosions in time.
Oh no, deadly football squid.
Look at this guy's squid face.
Take that.
I think we're in some kind of post-apocalyptia. Whoa!
What was that?
Who's this guy? With his crazy arms. Oh!
Cannonball!
Cannonball!
Well, I think the best thing about this console is that quick fix multiplayer. It's great that you can jump into pretty much any game with a friend. Of course, that's assuming you've bought a second arcade stick, which we had trouble finding, and it adds to the cost. Speaking of the arcade stick, it's pretty noisy. I don't know if I could handle listening to that for a long gaming session.
I like the noise. I think it's authentic. And it adds to the nostalgia. Playing something like Metal Slug, even 20 years later, is still good fun. There's just so much personality in those old animations. Sadly, most of the games don't hold up well at all.
Hey, let's bow!
They're just from an era where games were designed to be brutally hard so that you pumped a lot of coins in. So as much as I love these old games, they are sadly hard to go back to.
I thought the lineup was pretty limited, really. There were over 100 Neo Geo games, but only 20 are bundled in here. I mean, where are the Metal Slug sequels or the classics like Sengoku? It's a big ask to spend this much money on such a limited range. And then they want you to fork over even more money for extra games on cards. I mean, that feels pretty exploitative.
Yeah, I agree. And I think if I was a kid and I saw this small portable handheld inside a bigger console, it would blow my mind. But the fact is, most of the games from the era now you can get in multiple platforms and for a lot less, so it's hard to recommend this.
Next up, more tiny power.